Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what's the worst song to play at a funeral? They played I Did It My Way at my great aunt's funeral. She killed herself. Edit: no need for well wishes, it happened in '87, but thanks anyway. Edit 2: it was the Sinatra version. Well, your family's got a dark sense of humor, I'll give you that. At least they didn't go with That's Life. Let the bodies hit the floor. They're trying to tell me coffin flop's not a show. I don't know what to tell you, bud. We're just shooting funerals and showing the ones where the bodies fly out. Wake me up before you go by wham. My mum legitimately wants this at her funeral. Don't leave her hanging on like a yo-yo. Another one bites the dust. But this is the best song to play at a funeral. It is the literal truth. And if you play it backwards, it's fun to smoke marijuana, which is true. It's funny, pretty much every answer in this thread could be equally valid as an answer to what is the best song to play at a funeral. They had it coming, Chicago the musical. So I'm steady in the kitchen, carving up a chicken for dinner, minding my own business. When in storms my husband, Wilbur, in a jealous rage. "You've been screwing the milkman," he said. He was crazy, and he kept on screaming, "You've been screwing the milkman." And then he ran into my knife 10 times. You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic. My father chose the music for my uncle's funeral. I didn't recognize the title, however, at the intense moment that the curtains drew around the coffin, out blurted the Louis Tunes theme. We were horrified, and my dad sat there hunched over, giggling to himself. If there was a understanding between him and his brother that he would have enjoyed that joke too. I think it's hilarious. Especially if it was Porky Pig going, "That's all folks." I'd love that to be at my funeral. My dad died almost a month ago. We had to drive from England to Scotland after a call that he was in hospital and time was of the essence. On the motorway, Spotify regaled us with such classics as Don't Fear the Reaper, Break On Through, To the Other Side, and Highway to Hell. At some point during this concert from Hades, a loaded hearse joined the motorway and we had to sit behind it for a while. The universe has a Cards Against Humanity level sense of humor. Edit: majority of replies to this has cemented my last sentence on here. Growing up, my dad wasn't around. He wasn't a terrible person, just the epitome of a deadbeat dad. He never paid child support and was never around. I didn't have any kind of relationship with him until I was in my 20s and I was old enough to meet up at a bar with him. He always knew he fell far short as a dad, and I think he genuinely regretted it, even though he could never really bring himself to actually do anything about it. One weekend we had to drive a couple states away to pick up his sister and move her out with us. It was a mostly uneventful trip with me, my brother and my dad on the way out. Heading back it was me and my dad in my truck and my brother and my aunt in her car. This was before MP3 players and I had a 6-disc changer in my car set to random play. At one point it puts on the Everclear song Wonderful. I just kept looking straight ahead, hoping he wasn't really paying attention to the words. He was more of a 60s and 70s rock kinda guy, so that it wouldn't be too awkward. Song ends and the next random song that played was Father of Mine. I had to Google those songs. Holy shit, that must have been hard. I had the opposite. Dad and I drifted after my mom left. My sister stayed local to him. She collected his ashes. On the road back down to England I almost lost it on the motorway when Spotify played She's Got You by Patsy Cline. My own fault for playing country and western because I grew up with it. It's the best day ever from SpongeBob. I want that song for my funeral. My family wants that song for my funeral. If you're happy and you know it. If you're happy and you know it, decompose. If you're happy and you know it and you really wanna show it. If you're happy and you know it, decompose. You can't spell funeral without fun. Pop goes the weasel at a closed casket funeral. I'd die from anticipation. Then you've come to the right place. Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Bad for a funeral but great for CPR. I saw you in the parking lot earlier. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. The Hokey Pokey. It will take forever to get the burial over with. You put the left foot in, you put the left foot out, you put the left foot in and you shake it all about. Ain't nobody got time for that. Just put the whole body in and be done with it. You put the coffin in, you take the coffin out, you put the coffin in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn the corpse around. That's what it's all about. Whenever I hear someone say the phrase turned in his grave, I will forever assume the corpse is doing the hokey pokey. Tetris theme song. Well, the long coffin piece does perfectly fit in the hole in the ground. When I was in college, a girl died when she was hit by a car on her bike. They held a service on the quad and played Crash Into Me by DMB. Not the greatest choice. It's also a song about sex / fingering someone, so it's even less appropriate for a funeral. OOF. Cremation. This girl is on fire. If this were to ever happen at a funeral, and they were cremated, I'd more than likely piss myself with laughter. Was at a funeral for a friend, a hit, about 10 years ago. Another friend wanted to sing at her funeral. I thought, well, how awesome is this? Until he got up to sing. Voice cracking, off key, used wrong lyrics, and then there is me, lip quivering, sweating, and another friend looked back and saw me. We both had to get up and use the restroom. Laughter just exploded. After a good 10 minutes, we walked out, eyes red, tears streaming still, and a family member of the deceased came up and hugged us, expressing how wonderful it was that the deceased touched us so much to be in tears. Highway to Hell. My dad actually has that at the top of his I'm Dead playlist. There's like 30 or so songs in it. Last he talked about it, but Highway to Hell and Running with the Devil are the first 2 songs in it. Then Devil went down to Georgia about halfway through. Your dad probably had a lot of sympathy for the devil. Happy by Pharrell. I think that's a bad song to play in just about any scenario though. I've heard it being referred to as the grown-up version of If You're Happy and You Know It. That's not true. It's great as an interrogation / torture device. A Dutch boy chose this song for his funeral. He didn't want it to be a sad thing. Pharrell even met with his parents on live television and talked about it with them, how honored it made him feel. Edit, some parts are Dutch and some English. They also show a little part of the funeral with the song being played. And I didn't remember it correctly, his mother chose this song because when alive the song always made her think about her son because he was always happy. The interview. Ding dong, the Wizard of Ounces, the witch is dead. Did people play this when Margaret Thatcher died? It topped the UK charts the week she died. When we were teens, my mom used to tell my brothers and me that she knew we would be singing this at her funeral. Trust me, we would not. We love her, but still funny to think about. My mum always says she wants this to be played. She has been consistent in this wish over the years that when it does come her time in many years I will prob do it lol. I'm Alright by Kenny Loggins. Bonus if you have a gopher puppet dancing while it plays. No matter the situation, Who Let the Dogs Out is the worst song to play. What if somebody really did let a bunch of dogs out and you're trying to find out who it was? An air siren and asking loudly who released the canines is a preferable sound. Alive by Pearl Jam. Went to a funeral once where they actually played this. It was the last song he listened to on his iPod. Bring Me to Life. Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. The national anthem of AIM music videos. Baby, come back. As a funeral director there is no wrong answer. Had a service for someone before their cremation and it ended with the song Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die by Willie Nelson. This song was played at a friend's funeral. Definitely sparked some giggles. Yokati sax. There are instructions to play it at mine. This could be great if everything else was very solemn, then Yokati sax starts just as the pallbearers lift the casket. Complete with chase scene, I hope. The classic Benny Hill situation. The corpse is chasing everyone around, they decide to hide in the casket, now sized to fit the entire funeral. Someone turns on their phone to make sure everyone made it, surprise the corpse is in there too. Classic and really helped me come to terms with my grandma's death. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Edit, thanks for the SEC award. Especially if she was run over by one on Christmas Eve. Especially if she was coming home from our house. Gangsta's Paradise for a 26YR middle class, middle America, white boy. Who was not Gangsta. My 72-year-old mother wanted that played at her funereal gathering. She probably was gangster. Granny was AG. If they died at 23, the line "I'm 23 now but will I live to see 24" would really hit hard. Just play a looped version of the choir part. I will survive. Chumbawamba, tub thumpig. I get knocked down, but I don't get up again. I'm going 6 feet underground. Celebrate by Kool and the Gang. I just had sex by the Lonely Island. Dick in a box for a closed casket funeral. Even better if you're a Richard. Ghostbusters.